Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Uh, this is the first quiz session, trivia quiz session to be exact. We're planning a few more of these in the future. I'm sure nobody's watching this, but uh, this is just one of the uh, several sessions that we have planned, and this is just a, you could call it a demo or a test, just to see as to what the response is. uh, I have a set of questions, a set of 15 questions. If any of you are live at this hour, you can um, you can see the questions, and if it's to your liking, you can uh, give the answers. So straight away, uh, these are trivia, basic general questions. All you have to do is, if you're viewing it live, you can type in the comment answers in the comment section. If you're not watching it live, or perhaps plan to watch it later, you can comment and give your feedback as to what the quality of the questions are and whether you like it or not. So here it is, the first question. X is the first English language news channel to be headquartered in the Middle East. The name X means peninsula, apparently in a reference to the Arabian Peninsula. The distinctive logo of X is said to resemble a drop of water. So I think there are many clues in this question. First English language news channel to be headquartered in the Middle East. The name X is a reference to peninsula, and you have the Middle East, Saudi Arabian Peninsula there in the picture. So I think that's a uh, very good set of clues hidden in the question itself. I don't see anyone live at the moment, so I'm going to um, give the answer away. It's nothing but uh, perhaps anyone could guess it. Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is the name of the first English language news channel to be headquartered in the Middle East. And the name itself means peninsula, and the logo itself uh, is in the shape of a drop of water. Moving on to the next question. Ulgulan is a word in the Mundari language, and it means revolution or the great tumult. Statue of Ulgulan is a proposed 150 feet tall statue of X, a freedom fighter. The statue will be built on National Highway 33, which connects Ranchi to Jamshedpur near Bundu. The Ulgulan Foundation has brought forward the movement of Har Ghar Se Patthar, Har Ghar Se Sahyog, which in English means uh, a stone from every house, and cooperation, help, or rather support from every house, which directs towards the idea that the statue will be built in accordance of support of each and every village and individual household's contribution. So who is this person whose very large statue, 150 feet statue, is being constructed? Who is this man X? There are ample number of clues there. Mundari language, revolution, Ulgulan, especially the area which is the Ranchi Jamshedpur area. So there are also, I mean, a lot of clues hidden there. The answer is nothing but Birsa Munda. Birsa Munda, Bhagwan Birsa Munda is the answer. He was the one who led the Ulgulan, or the revolution. Um, he was a very, especially the Mundari language, that itself was a very big clue to this question. Moving on, we'll move on to the next question. Question number three. Question number three is we'll go through the question. X originated in India 4,000 years ago. Due to its large size, unlike other members of its families, X relied on humans to transport it across the world. X has influenced the world around it very much, especially in India, with designs such as those given aside being said to be inspired from it. So we are seeing here designs. One is a necklace, and the other is a particular motif design, particularly used in cloths and fabrics all over the world. So, what is this X, which originated in India 4,000 years ago? Due to its large size, because of its large size, it was unlike other members, it was not able to transport itself as easily as other members, and it had to rely on humans. So, what is this X that we are talking about? Certainly, there are, I mean, the clue itself is in the picture. If you think about it, um, the shape itself is a very big clue of what I'm talking about. Since nobody is, I guess nobody is live at this point, or perhaps I didn't inform them, the answer to this is mango. The shape that we saw just now, it's called um, I'm sure every culture has something of this sort, shaped like a mango, and these are also shaped like mangoes. So the because of the size of the seed, mango seed, because of its huge size, it usually isn't. I mean, it's not propagated or transfers from one region to another because of wind or any other agents of transportation, and it had to rely on humans. Humans are the ones who took mango seeds from one part of one part to another, and they sowed that seed, and the mango tree thus grew. So, mango, the origin of mango is obviously in India, and the world over, mangoes are relished and enjoyed because of its taste. Moving on, we'll go to the next question. In response to a right to information query by the Hindu, the Archaeological Survey of India on July 28, 2021 replied no when asked if it had located the grave of X at the Humayun's tomb complex. This was after the central government had formed a committee to locate the grave of X, who had translated the Upanishads into Persian, IDX. So this is way back last year, July, Archaeological Survey of India (ASI), when an RTI query came to asking whether they had found the grave of this person X at the very famous Humayun's tomb complex, because Humayun's tomb itself has tombs of a very large number of people apart from Humayun himself. The central government, the ASI had to reply. Uh, the ASI had to reply, no, they haven't found the grave of X. There's one particular very interesting clue in it, that he had translated Upanishads into Persian. So, who is that person who had translated the Upanishads into Persian? None other than Darashiko. Darashiko is the person who was the brother of Aurangzeb, and a very much learned man who had translated Upanishads um, into Persian. And so his grave is still a mystery. ASI replying that they do not have any idea as to where Darashiko's grave is. Moving on, we'll move on to question number 5. In January 2018, Tata Motors renamed one of their hatchbacks from X to Tiago. So the previous name was uh, X. We have to work out on that X. It was changed to Tiago. The winning name Tiago was taken after a crowdsourcing hunt was organized to select a new name. Why was the old name X? What was the old name X, and why was it changed? So this is the question. Tata Tiago, a couple of years old car. Instead of the Tiago name, it had another name, uh, which was later replaced by Tiago. So, what was the old name X, and what was the reason behind the name change of X? So, since I'm not seeing any answers on the chat board, I'll I'll give the answer. The previous name was Zika, Zica. The car's acronym was Zika, derived from Zippy car. The company had decided to rename the car following its resemblance to the Zika virus, which was spreading in South America in 2015-16. So the reason behind the name change was that it was a very bad resemblance to the Zika virus, and hence they conducted a crowdsourcing hunt, and the name Tiago was later on selected. Moving on, we'll move on to the next question. X revolution was the broad name given to the step by step process that led to the re establishment of the Estonian independence in 1991 from Soviet occupation. So there was a revolution, it was a gradual process, step by step process. It led to the re establishment of the Estonian independence in 1991 from Soviet occupation. And it was called, what was this? We had to work on this X. It was called the X revolution because of the role X played in the protests of the mid 1980s. The major venue for protests against the Soviet occupation were rock summer festivals and other festival grounds. We have to identify what is this X? What is this revolution? What did it contain? That's the question. Now, I believe there are a certain number of clues in it. The first clue is that it has to be something, I mean, different from the usual protests that we usually see. Apart from that, you could see the third para itself says the major venue for protests against the Soviet occupation was rock summer festivals. What is going on in the rock summer festivals and festival grounds? What does it happen usually? Usually it's just singing. Yes, it's singing what is happening at the rock summer festival. So the answer is the revolution was termed singing revolution. X is singing. The revolutionary songs created by Estonians anchored their non-violent struggle for freedom from Soviet occupation. So apart from the, I mean, very distant from the usual protests that we see, this was the singing revolution, which led to, I mean, which was a major part of the struggle for the Estonian independence. We'll move on to question number 7. This is a very unique question, I would say. I would not say unique, but perhaps a very interesting question. Question goes like this. X is a device used for recording visual images in the form of photographs, film, or video signals. The primary origin of the word X can be attributed to Latin, in which the origin term meant a vault or a vaulted room. So X is a device used for recording visual images, photographs, film, video signals, and the origin of the word X, it can be traced back to Latin, in which the term meant a vault or a vaulted room. Also, the term's origin can be traced to ancient Greek as well, in which it meant a vaulted chamber. So X, the basic origin is a vault or a vaulted chamber. Another term Y has its origins in the same Latin word meaning a vault or a vaulted room. So there is another term Y, same Latin origin, meaning a vault or vaulted. While historically Y meant one who shares the same room, today Y's meaning has changed into a colleague or a fellow member of an organization, ID X and Y. What is this device X and what is the new term or rather another term Y, which both of them sharing the same origin? Now there are a couple of clues in this. The first one is that it's a device used for recording visual images in the form of photographs, film, or video signals. Now, what's the first thing that comes to our mind when we think of a device which is used for recording visual images in the form of photographs, film, or video signals? Yes, yes. Sometimes the most basic things are the correct ones. The simplest solution is perhaps the correct solution. So the X has to be a camera. A camera. Yes. Then why it is Y? I gave the answer away. Y is nothing but comrade. Comrade. Yes. X camera and Y comrade. The word comrade itself has its origin in the word camera, where it meant comrade was a person who shares your room, who shares your vaulted chamber, who is who shares your room, who's a colleague or a fellow member of an organization. It's very interesting to see that both camera and comrade have the same origin. So moving on, we'll move on to the next question, number 8. Spencer Eldon was just a few months old when his parents got a call from photographer Kirk Weddell, who asked if he could use their newborn baby as part of a photo shoot. Okay, so there is a very young, very, I mean, a baby, so to say, Spencer Eldon, just a few months old. His parents got a call from a very famous photographer, Kirk Weddell, who asked if you could use their newborn baby as part of a photo shoot. Eldon's parents were reportedly paid only $200, and the shoot lasted around 15 seconds. Later on, a fish hook with a dollar bill was eventually added to one of the stills of Spencer, and what was created was an iconic photo. What is this photo? Or perhaps you could answer who is Spencer Eldon. If you know who is Spencer Eldon, then perhaps you know the answer to the question. Why is the photo so famous? So there are a couple of, I mean, there are many number of clues in this. One is that is this it's a photo of a newborn baby, a baby, and another a fish hook with a dollar bill was added eventually to one of the stills of Spencer. So for those who don't know, the answer is the Nirvana baby. Yes, Spencer Eldon was the naked baby on the cover of the Nevermind album by Nirvana. He was in news, I think, a couple of years ago, or rather, previous year itself, because I think he had wanted some royalty of his photo. I'm not sure about that because this quiz slides were prepared by me. I mean, I think last year, so I'm not following. I mean, I don't recall the situation, but Spencer Eldon was the one who was on the cover page, or rather the cover of the Nevermind album by Nirvana. Perhaps a very iconic photo. I mean, very few album covers have such an iconic photo, which has an instant recall value. Okay, moving on, we'll move on to question number 9. X was founded in England in 1946 with the intention to create a society that is non-political and free from all racial or religious distinctions. The organization is open to only those people who score at the 98th percentile or higher on a standardized supervised IQ or other approved intelligence test. Okay, so there's an organization which was founded in England, 1946. There is no discrimination. But there is a certain standard that you must meet in order to join this organization. The word X is Latin for table, as is symbolized in the organization's logo, and was chosen to demonstrate the round table nature of the organization. So the word X, it's the name of the organization, and the meaning of the word X is Latin for table. And it can be seen on the logo itself, which you can see there. Which is this organization whose logo is given aside? So which is this organization which has an entry criteria that only if you could score 98th percentile on a standardized supervised IQ test will you be able to join this organization. Which is this organization? So the answer is pretty simple. It's Mensa. Mensa, the high IQ society. The Latin word mensa means table, as is evident in the logo itself, high IQ society. Moving on, next question number 10. We are almost to the, I mean, we are through the two-third of the 66%, 66.67% of the quiz is almost over. So I see no comments, nothing. Okay, no problem. It's just the first session. Perhaps next time onwards, I'll inform you beforehand before starting this session. Okay, next question. It's very particular. I mean, I'm not sure whether anyone, I mean, would get it. It's a little bit tricky. I mean, for those who are aware, who are Malayalis, Mallus, Keralites, they might get it. For others, it might be a little difficult. Anyhow, the question is very simple. What is the specific connection between these two? What we are seeing is number one is a textbook with the title A Grammar of the Malayalam Language. In Malayalam, it's written Malayalam Bhasha Vyagaranam. Malayalam grammar, the language of the Malayalam, grammar of the Malayalam language. That's second, written by Herman Gundert, H. Gundert. Is that what you're seeing on your left? And on the right is the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, a very famous book, Siddhartha, which was in fact made into a movie also, starring Shashi Kapoor. I'm not sure about the year that it was released. Anyhow, so what's the specific connection between these two? Okay, so I don't know whether you could get it or not, but here's the connection. Hermann Gundert, German missionary scholar and linguist, and the author of the Malayalam grammar book, Malayala Bhasha Vyagaranam, he is the maternal grandfather of Hermann Hesse, the author of Siddharth. So I I'm planning to include at least one question which is relating to Kerala, because my home state is Kerala. So I want to inculcate as much as possible. But to be fair, I don't want to be entirely about Kerala, but certainly I would try to inculcate one question about every state, but one question about Kerala will certainly be there. So this is the connection. Haman Gundat was the person who wrote the Malayalam Bhasha Vyagaranam, a very famous book and a very important book, especially in the context of Malayalam literature. He is the maternal grandfather of Hermann Hesse, the author of Siddharth. So, moving on, next question is quite important. Here's the question. Now, I don't, if many people were watching this stream, perhaps I would have expected some of them to get it. Here's the question, number 11. These are a group of 12th century chess pieces, most of which are carved from walrus ivory. Walrus is a sea mammal. I'm not sure. Anyhow, it's a sea. I mean, sea living creature. Okay, we'll fix that. These were discovered in 1831 on the island of Lewis in Scotland. Hence the name Lewis chessmen. What particular items in the movie world were inspired from these chess pieces? Okay, so a very descriptive chess pieces. You can see their eyes. They are particularly, I mean, we could see who's the king, perhaps who's the pawn. It's all evident there. But these were an inspiration for set items in a very famous movie. So the answer is Harry Potter. Louis chessmen were the inspiration behind the chess pieces for the wizard chess in the movie Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So you could see that animation, the GIF or GIF, it's up to you how you call it. Anyhow, this animation particularly shows the inspiration behind these figures. They were inspired from the Louis chessmen of 12th century. Moving on, number 12. X has long been favorite for many guerrilla and nationalist movements throughout the world. The symbolic value of X to such movements is demonstrated by its presence on the coats of arms of numerous countries as well as on the flag of a country. IDX. So X, whatever it is, it's been a long time favorite for many guerrilla and nationalist movements throughout the world. So the symbolic value of X, it can be seen when it is found on the coat of arms of several countries. One has been shown here. Uh, it's a coat of arm of a country and flag. You can see it's a Mozambique flag, flag of Mozambique, and on there you could see a particular thing which has been long favorite for many guerrilla nationalists. Perhaps it's a symbol of modern warfare. I could say that modern warfare. What is it? What is this item? That's the question. Um, so I guess if you're watching this at a later stage, I'm I'm expecting that you are at least trying to guess the answer. The answer is nothing but AK-47. Automatic Kalashnikov 47 assault rifle is the one that you see on the coat of arms of several countries. One which has been shown here and on the flag of Mozambique. So, such is the cultural, I would not say cultural, symbolic value of AK-47, that it has found its way onto the flag of a country. Moving on, question number 13, a sports related one. All you have to do is ID this couple. Now, speaking of clues, there is a very big clue on the background of this photo itself. That that circle that you see there, if many of you might already be recognizing it, what it is, but you have to identify this couple. Who are which is this couple? And perhaps some of you might recognize the lady. I don't know whether I'm not sure, but I mean, ideally you should recognize both of them. Both of them are finest in their fields. They have made India's name very proud. uh, the couple is none other than Deepika Kumari and Atanu Das. Both are archers. Both have Deepika Kumari at a time was world number one in women's archery. I think it was a recurve event, and Atanudas himself has also got several medals for India, and they are a couple, archer couple. Um, they've got married, I think, in 2020, if I'm not wrong. So this couple is Deepika Kumari and Atanu Das. Moving on, question number 14. Jagmohan Lal Sinha practiced or graduated in law and practiced as a pleader at Bareilly from 1943 to 1955. He was appointed permanent judge of Allahabad High Court on 25th August 1972. What significance does Judge Jagmohan Lal Sinha hold in Indian political history? So this is a judge, 1943 to 1950, he was a pleader at Bareilly. In 1972, he got appointed as a permanent judge of Allahabad High Court. But there's one particular incident which is very much linked, very much important to consider when we are talking about Indian political history. And his name, the Judge Jagmohan Lal Sinha's name, has been linked to it. I need to know, or rather, if you could just provide me what is that significance. So the answer is nothing but Justice Jagmohan Lal Sinha of the Allahabad High Court was the one who gave the verdict invalidating Indira Gandhi's 1971 electoral victory. He was the one who said that she had misused her power, the government machinery, to get the result in her favor. So he gave the decision invalidating her electoral victory and bars her from holding elected office for 6 years for electoral malpractice. And what happens later is very much we are aware of it. The emergency was declared, and so Judge Jagmohan Lal Sinha, Judge Sinha's, perhaps he's most famously remembered as Judge Sinha. Judge Sinha's role uh, in the Indian political context is in this particular chapter. Moving on, we're on to the last question, question number 15. Uh, so this is a connect question. Uh, we have three photos here. One is of a car which you may all identify, the ambassador. On the right hand side, you're seeing a page, a web page, in fact, of Hindustan Times newspaper. And in the middle, you can see, in fact, I would say emblem or rather logo. I'm not sure what it is called. Anyhow, it's from the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, or more often known as BITS Pilani. The question is very simple. What is the common connection between all this? Hindustan Motors, Ambassador, Hindustan Times, and BITS Pilani. Okay, so I'm guessing that you know the answer, or perhaps you're trying to get the answer. This connection is that uh, Hindustan Motors, which introduced the Ambassador, was started by BM Birla. Which Pilani is currently backed by, it was in fact started uh, by the Birla. Ghanshyam Das Birla was the one who was the pioneer in bringing BITS Pilani to a much more extensive or a grander level. But currently, it is backed by Aditya Birla Group, and Chancellor is none other than Kumar Mangalam Birla, is the Chancellor of this institute. So it's anyhow connected to the Birla family, as is evident from the name itself, Birla Institute of Technology and Science. And as far as Hindustan Times goes, Hindustan Times has had connections and links with Lala Lajpat Rai himself, a very prestigious newspaper, part of the media fraternity of India, but it is currently owned by the KK Birla group. So the connect is nothing, but all these are related to Birla, the Birla family. So this was it. I've taken 30 minutes to complete just 15 questions, so I don't see any comments whatsoever. This was it. You've been watching the first trivia quiz session of course. I'm expecting, or rather hoping, that I'll be regular with this. This was just a trial session. I just wanted to see whether I could make this work. So anyhow, I'm expecting when I rewatch this entire session, I want to see what mistakes I committed and perhaps rectify them in the future session. I'm hoping to conduct this every day, perhaps 10 or 15 questions per day, so that I get used to the habit. If any of you are, if you any of you watch this at a later stage and want this to be a regular feature, or you enjoyed the questions that I made, or perhaps you find any mistakes or any corrections or clarifications that you need, you are free to comment them on the video. And if you like the video, please like and share, and do subscribe to the channel. Okay, until then, we'll see you next time. It's a good night. Okay, bye.